What is up, everybody? Cliff Ravenscraft, and today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? Well, it is a psychological phenomenon in which people are convinced that they are frauds and that they do not deserve success. I don't know about you, but I have experienced this many times along my journey of basically pursuing my dream of fulfilling my true purpose and my true calling in this world. And today I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts along the way. By the way, if you've ever thought, well, I've never really would ever say that I don't deserve success or that I'm a complete fraud. Maybe you've thought of it this way. I would love to go and do this for a living, but I just don't know that I'm just not sure I'm qualified. I'm not sure that I have what it takes. There are so many other people out there who already have products or services just like this, and quite frankly, they're way more qualified than I am. They do it much better than I do. Who do I think that I am? That's the other language that comes along with imposter syndrome. All right, so I want to share with you from my own journey, the dream inside of me. And I'm going to take you back about 4 years ago to Podcast Answer Man episode number 379. And I was recording my Podcast Answer Man as I was streaming live out on Facebook and YouTube back then. And I'm going to play a video clip from you. And I want you to hear what I say. And I'm going to leave me on the screen here so you can actually see my reactions as I hear myself talk.
This is something that comes up over and over again. I think you're destined to have more impact in the world beyond your current work. And I want to say that I have no idea where I will be in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I don't even know whether or not I'll be alive. I would love to get more self-discipline in my life and take better care of my body, learning more about nutrition and not just learning about it, but actually, eating for my body's health rather than just enjoyment, and seeking pleasure over pain when it comes to the types of foods that I eat. I realize I don't know what the future holds for me, but let's just say this. I have this overwhelming sense in my life. I wonder, will I ever stand on a stage in a stadium with 50,000 or 100,000 people in a stadium and speak to them and share a 40-minute talk that will radically change those people's lives? There's a part of me thinks that that's possible, and that might be something that's in my future. I almost feel called to something that big.
Wow. Guys, man, I love that I have this footage. I love that I have so much of my journey archived and documented because I got to tell you, did you hear some words that in it? Number one, I don't even know where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years. I don't even know if I'll be alive. What was not said is what was going on inside of my mind at that time. Not when I was actually recording that video, when I was recording that podcast episode, but quite frankly, I was experiencing some physical symptoms that were quite scary at the time. I was having some pretty bad racing heart issues and just I literally felt like I was about ready to have a massive heart attack. And I didn't even realize I said that until I pulled out this footage. But quite frankly, there was a question just 4 years ago. I don't even know if I'll be alive in 5 to 10 years. How crazy is that? Now, what you see here on the screen, and I'm looking at this, I mean, I was at my heaviest at that moment in time. 272 pounds is what I weighed right there that day. And I was not a happy person in my life. I was moving forward. I was helping people. By the way, financially, more successful than I ever dreamed possible that day. I had a business that had, by that point right there, I had already helped over 30,000 people in this world successfully launch a podcast. And I had people all over the world subscribe to my podcast, listening to my voice every single week, being encouraged and inspired to take their life and their message to a whole new level. But inside, I felt like a complete fraud. Why? Because my vision, my mission in the world wasn't to leave insurance so that I could help people all over the world launch a podcast. I'm thankful and thrilled that I had the opportunity to do that for over a decade. But I felt like there was something more in life. Now, the interesting thing is about a month after this, on October 24th, 2014, I made a decision that, by golly, I have a vision of the future. And that vision of the future is Cliff Ravenscraft changing the way that he looks, the way that he feels, and becoming the master of his physical body. And talking about himself in the third person, obviously. But I made a decision that, listen, I don't want to not know what my future is. I'm not guaranteed anything. I do understand that. But by golly, I'm ready to start dreaming about the future. I know for a fact that in 5 to 10 years from now, at that point, if I was to still be alive, which thankfully just 4 years later I am, I knew for a fact at that moment in time, I did not want to be known anymore as the podcast answer man. I knew that I was being called to something different, something bigger. I just didn't know what at the time. Today, I'm very clear on exactly what I want my life to look like 5 to 10 years from now. And I'm taking steps every day to get me closer to it. Even though, by the way, I experience more fear and anxiety related to the things that I'm pursuing now than I've ever had about any other thing I've pursued in my life. But I'm still moving forward, and I have a clear vision of where I'm going. That's a whole different story than this guy right here. And it all started for me when I began to take mastery of my physical body. On November 24th, 2014, I made the decision that day I was going to live fully alive. And one of the ways that I was going to take control of my life and to actually live every day to its fullest is that I was committed to working out 6 days a week, every week, for the rest of my life, and I would attain the physical body that I believed that I was created to live inside of. See, the body that I have today, this is the physical body I was created to live in, not that one. That is not what I was created to live in. And I just could sense that. So I made changes to my life. And here's the interesting thing. I made that decision, and about 2 or 3 months into my journey of working out 6 days a week, every week for the rest of my life, I was posting about it every single day on social media. I was inspiring people. People are like, oh my gosh, Cliff. Initially, I was really annoyed by all of your social media posts, your fat workout selfies in my newsfeed every single day. Give me a break. A lot of people confessed that they actually ended up unfollowing me because they were annoyed by it. But many of them said, you know what? Initially, I was like, I hate this. This is annoying. But then I realized what really got me is the fact that I'm jealous the fact that Cliff is actually doing something about what he wants to pursue in life and what he wants to achieve in life. Just like all the other dreams that he's ever pursued, he's actually going after it. And people have confessed to me and said, Cliff, partly the reason why I unfollowed you is because, well, I was just angry because I never did anything myself. And they said, but I decided to come back and I followed you. And instead of being annoyed by your post-workout selfies every single day, I started to be inspired by them. And people started to email me and text me and direct message me saying, Cliff, oh my gosh, I'm at the gym today. I'm making a change in my physical body as a result of what you're doing. And I got so fired up about that it started to get me to thinking, man, I wonder if I could actually inspire and motivate and encourage people and make a living doing this thing that I feel most called to do in the world without the need to teach anybody the ins and outs, the technical sides of podcasting. Because that's not what I feel called to do with my life. I know it's been valuable. I look back on those years fondly, and to know that I've been a part of so many people's journey in getting their message out, that is incredible. And I can still inspire people. And there are other people who could more adequately and even better than I did teach you how to launch a podcast. But I feel like there's something bigger for me to be a part of. And so I started to talk about that in my podcast. And one day in a show that I had called Pursuing a Balanced Life, I said, man, I have this dream that one day that I will have more impact and more influence in people's lives in the areas of health and fitness, or in their mindset, or pursuing their business efforts, that I will have more impact and influence in their lives like that are 100 times greater than any impact I've ever had in the podcasting space. And I want the podcasting brand to be behind me. And people have been shocked when they say, I want to divorce myself from the brand Podcast Answer Man. I would love to be known as the Mindset Answer Man, which, by the way, check out mindsetanswerman.com. And at the time, I had already helped more than 30,000 people successfully launch a podcast. And I said in that podcast episode, wouldn't it be awesome if I could help more people find success in achieving the mastery of their physical body than I've ever helped people find success in launching their podcast? What if people knew me instead of the Podcast Answer Man, the Fitness Answer Man? All right, so all of that kind of stuff was shared in a podcast episode. Look at this guy, the guy who just a couple months earlier, wasn't even sure he's going to be alive in 5 to 10 years. Now all of a sudden wants to be a guy who's helped more than 30 to 50,000 people master their physical body or become successful business owners, right? Who is this guy? And so you might think that I have some of these imposter syndrome. Who do I think that I am? And I did. I struggled with the vision of some of those things. It took a long time before I could start speaking it out loud. And then I got this comment. I'm just going to read the highlights. He goes, regarding your Pursuing a Balanced Life podcast episode, you said, I want to be known for being the health and fitness answer man. One thing is clear. You are not a health and fitness expert. Not even close. Yes, you do indeed offer a few biz hacks and biz strategies. You do have game in the new media space, but you are far from having game in the health and fitness space. Listening to you attempt to figure out your health and fitness journey is not a productive or valuable use of time. You pawning yourself off as being legit in health and fitness when you are not. Yes, I'm calling you out for one main reason. Currently, Pursuing a Balanced Life podcast does not have any real success track record in health and fitness. Why? Because you don't have any quantifiable or tangible results or track record from 2014. Yes, you're an A-lister in podcasting. This doesn't automatically give you A-list cred in health and fitness space. As if I didn't have enough of my own stuff going in my head, I had to have somebody point this out to me. As if none of this stuff occurred to me. It did. It was in my own head. I didn't need somebody to put it in a comment. And let me tell you, did that affect me for about 24 to 48 hours? Yeah, it did. It messed up with my head. But you know what? I got over it. How did I get over it? Well, those are things that I talk about at the Free the Dream conference, by the way, at freethedream.live. I hope that you'll attend. But I did get over this because, you know what? Inside of me, I knew I was called to something more than the podcasting space, the new media space. Just because I had developed 10 years of my life to finding great success and rising to the very top of my industry doesn't mean that that is a box that I have to stay in for the rest of my life. You know what? When I started Podcast Answer Man, I wasn't the best podcast consultant out there. There were other people out there who were already more qualified than me, but I became the Podcast Answer Man when I decided to become the Podcast Answer Man. And I became the Fitness Answer Man when I decided to become the Fitness Answer Man. I became the Business Answer Man when I decided to become the Business Answer. I became the Mindset Answer Man when I decided to become the Mindset Answer Man. Did I have fears that I wasn't qualified? That I didn't have any tangible results? Those things are true. I wasn't qualified to be the Podcast Answer Man when I launched Podcast Answer Man. What qualified me was that, hey, I may not have all the answers, but I'm the guy that you can come to and ask the questions, and I know where to go find the answers. And that's how I did it. When it comes to fitness and health, do I have all the answers on how to lose weight and keep it off? No. But let me tell you something. I'm going to learn. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to share with you everything I learn along my journey. Do I know everything about how to achieve mastery of my mindset? No, not at the time I didn't. But guess what? I have devoted years of my life, hours every single week, into learning how to master my physical body, my mindset, my business efforts. That's what I do. I decide, where do I want to go? Instead of 4 years ago when you asked me, Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? I didn't even know I would be alive. That's how bad it was. But when I made a decision to pursue my dream, a vision, and what the heck? On stage in front of 50 to 100,000 people, do I feel qualified? No. And get this. Some people say, you are enough. Guess what? You are enough in that everything that it would take for you to achieve whatever dream God has put into your heart, that's true. You have everything inside of you. Everything you need is already inside of you. All of the resources are available to you. But you currently, chances are, you've got some growing to do. And maybe that's some of the fear you have about moving forward. Some of this fear like, oh, well, I'm just not worthy. Other people are doing it. Let me just stay here and do what I know. I've built this up. It's irresponsible for me to leave this. That all of that stuff just says this. I'm comfortable where I am. I have mastered this and I feel good. You know what? I could have stayed here. I could have stayed this guy, the podcast answer man. I could have stayed 272 pounds. I don't know that I'd be alive today if I didn't make a decision to pursue my dream, because I probably would have died of a heart attack within about 18 months of that. Today, I've got the best health you could possibly imagine. So I'm going to forward on here, and I want to share with you a couple things. I want to read to you some comments that came in over the years after that comment came in. I'm going to go full screen. Joe McCready says, Cliff, I applaud your determination and your commitment and have liked your progress so far. You've inspired me to get out and do something. Thus, I decided to walk 4 miles every weekday morning since mid-July, and I have lost almost 20 pounds. I'm adding in yoga and working out on my Total Gym as well. I post my walks every morning via MapMyFitness to Facebook. I've also received comments from some friends who were inspired to get more active, and all of this was because of you. You caused this ripple effect, my friend. Attached is the message I just received from a high school pal. And this is the text message he received from a friend that said, hey, keep up the daily posts from your walks. You have inspired me to get up and get moving. My wife has managed to get me to do yoga and eat better. Feeling good. I just wanted to say thanks for the inspiration. Carol Boyett. She says, your story is inspirational and has helped me become more focused on my own workouts. Last fall, I would go with any excuse not to go to my water aerobics classes. Since March, I've not only been attending all of my water aerobics classes, but I've recently started swimming laps. Being a stronger, healthier person is my goal along with weight loss. Thanks so much for your dedication and commitment. Christopher Wilson says, inspiring, Cliff. I'm 43. I weigh 375 pounds and I'm wanting to change my life just to feel better and have more energy and quality of life with my family. Good job. My friends, this is why I left my career in insurance. I wasn't asking myself, I wonder what life would be like if I could create a business where I could teach people what microphones they need, what cables they need, and how to hook up all the wires to their mixer and how an RSS feed works. I wasn't saying, wow, I wonder what life would be like if I could do that for a living instead of insurance. That's not it. You see, I had experienced something powerful through the podcasting that I was doing as a hobby. I was putting content out in the world that was entertaining, educational, encouraging, and inspirational. I want to tell you a story about Anna Sophie Reinhardt. She's been listening to our content going all the way back to December 2005. And I want to share with you something that she posted on her website at one time.
2007 was a year of hell for me. I had just tried to commit suicide and I was in a dark, dark place. I couldn't sleep, I didn't really eat, I never left my room. My mom, my sister, everyone tried to pull me out of there. They tried to get me back to life. They tried to convince me to at least go and go out for a walk, anything. And nothing worked. I was weak, I was lonely, I was so lost. I was scared of everything, everyone. I had dropped out of school. I was in pure misery. And so I watched all kinds of TV shows. TV shows had always been my safe haven. they had always been my place to escape to when life got too hard. And so I watched Lost, I watched Grey's Anatomy, and searched the web for podcasts on these topics. And that's when my life changed forever.
That's Anna Sophie, and let me tell you something. She discovered our Lost podcast, and I don't know if you caught it at the very beginning. She said that she had just attempted to commit suicide. She was not willing to live her life anymore. And as a result of listening to my wife and I talk in a podcast on a weekly basis, she began to experience hope in her life again. She began to laugh again. And not only that, but she joined an online community that my wife and I created for Lost fans around the world. Anna Sophie had actually traveled to the United States before. She wouldn't leave her house, but she started traveling to the United States. She stayed with my wife and I in our home. She actually came to many of our Lost parties where we would actually host community gatherings from people from all over the world to come watch the season premiere and the season finale of this TV show that we were podcasting about. And I want you to listen to the words that she shared in an audio testimonial about the GSPN.TV Plus membership, which was where you could contribute to the content that we created at the time. Listen to this.
Hi, my name's Anne and I'm from Germany. And I'm a GSPN.TV Plus member because honestly, I couldn't imagine living without Cliff and Stephanie anymore. They are such a huge part of my life now, and they have changed my life in so many ways. I mean, a year ago, I was not communicating with anyone. And now I have so many friends. I've gained so many friends through the community that Cliff and Stephanie have built. And listening to their podcasts, I can laugh. I can sometimes cry with them. And it is so much fun. And even though right now I'm studying and I don't have time to keep up with all the content that is being released. But it's just, Cliff and Stephanie have literally helped me find my way back to life. And so Plus membership is just a small way of thanking them. And so if Cliff and Stephanie have changed your life, and I know they have, please become a Plus member because Plus membership rocks.
That's Anna Sophie. And at the time that she wrote that, this is what she looked like. She was suffering from severe anorexia. And she's not kidding when she said that she had been fighting her way back to life. And this is not the only story like this. I could pull out at least 50 other stories that would pull at your heartstrings like this story. And when I decided what would life be like if I could leave my career in insurance, it was so that I could have this kind of impact, this kind of influence in the world. Not so that I could teach people about the RSS feeds and cables and mixers and all that stuff. I'm glad that I went through that process because it helped me learn how to build a profitable business online, which now has helped me make this further transition out of the podcast Answer Man to where now I'm able to help people achieve great success in their businesses. But most importantly, it helped me process so much about the mindset that goes from living the lifetime of an employee to building a profitable business and all the different things that have to change here. And it's literally changing my physical body that really helped me experience most of the mental mindset shifts that, quite frankly, every single principle that I've learned and every technique that I've learned that's helped me understand how to master my physical body has helped me master every other area of my life. But it's people like Anna Sophie. This is why it's this impact, it's this influence that I left my career in insurance for. And it's this kind of impact that I want to continue to have in the world. It's why I want a stadium with 50,000 Anna Sophie Reinhardts in it to have that kind of impact, that kind of influence in people's lives. Let me just show you what's happened as a result. Anna Sophie checked herself in for recovery, to seek recovery for anorexia. She after she got out of her treatment, she began to share her journey publicly in an audio podcast. She actually took my podcasting A to Z course and launched a podcast called Fighting Anorexia. She began to follow my example of hosting meetups and stuff like that, and it got people's attention in the media. This is an article, I think it was from Switzerland, where they did an entire article in a magazine about her journey of anorexia and how she's now having a positive impact in people's lives. This was in New York City when we had Blog World NYC. She hosted her own meetup for people who were in her community, who listened to her podcast about the journey of the road to recovery from anorexia. And today, Anna Sophia is very healthy, teaching people how to completely master their mindset about their body image and how to live a healthy lifestyle, loving the body for which they have. She's such an incredible person. Look at this. This is her Twitter feed from a couple years ago. Make peace with food, your body, and yourself, having a powerful impact in people's lives. Guys, let me tell you something. It was crazy. It was crazy for me in 2014 and 2015 to start thinking about this idea that I could leave the world of Podcast Answer Man behind and be known in the future as somebody who has more impact and influence in people's lives when it comes to mastering their physical body, becoming extremely profitable with their own online businesses, or to completely discover how to master their mindset and completely and radically change their beliefs about who they are and what they can achieve. It was crazy for me to think that this guy that weighed 272 pounds could dream of living a life that would be worthy of people's attention to come to a stadium event that I'll host one day. But I love this quote from Steve Jobs. He said that people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. You know what? Don't let imposter syndrome hold you back from living the life you were created. Don't hit the snooze button on your dreams any longer. Where are you going to be in life 5 to 10 years from now? Is it time to master your physical body? Is it time to master your schedule and have freedom and flexibility? Is it time for you to master your finances? Is it time for you to make a huge leap into something completely different with the 40 hours doing this thing that we call work? What is your dream of the future? I'd love to help you learn how to master these areas of your life so that you can free the dream inside of you and overcome that imposter syndrome so that you can make a difference and do what you are most called to do in this world. My friends, I encourage you to come to the Free the Dream conference. Head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. I look forward to seeing you there.